that. It's a load zone bridge, Depression era. For some reference, Wal-Mart trucks weigh about 60,000 pounds fully loaded. We said, well, how's this going to work? Because this is the main artery serving the project. And you're not supposed to have fully loaded 18-wheelers rolling through. We all know 18-wheelers restock Walmart supercenters. And I've never seen a smaller truck restocking a Walmart supercenter. But the city, in their response to our concerns, which you see the front page here, Mr. Lathan, who's a Public Works and Engineering employee and deputy director, said that in response to our concerns regarding the bridge, that Public Works and Engineering recognize it's a problem, and they've asked the consultant, the Kimley Horn Company, the Einbinder's consultant, to evaluate and provide a vehicle profile from the developer for deliveries that complies with the load limits or determine alternative routing methods for delivery. Okay, well that's nice and good. It's one sentence worth of we'll solve the problem, but it raises a lot of practical questions. The first being, how are you going to enforce an agreement with Walmart for them to use smaller vehicles if they are indeed going to go over the bridge? They've said, well, we'll have the operating agreement. Well, we pointed out the operating agreement's unenforceable because it's not a contract. There's no consideration. We've gotten no solid answer, and we've gotten no details. And we've had people continuously ask at the council, and the mayor has said that no details are available. Also, a practical consideration is, how are we to be assured that if they are sending 60,000-pound 18-wheelers to restock that Walmart, how are we going to make sure that the truck drivers don't take the most direct route over that bridge? You've got new drivers. People make mistakes all the time. Councilmember Noriega pointed this out recently in one of the council sessions, and it's not enforceable. Truck drivers make mistakes all the time. Do we want them taking the risk that they're going to drive over our Depression era bridge right in the middle of our neighborhood? Our position is absolutely not. So, wanted to point this out to a design manual comment that we interpret this language to mean that the TIA needed to address the bridge issue because it is an adverse traffic impact. All right, moving on to number 2 here. 25% of the planned development is unaccounted for in the December TIA. We hinted at this on the first slide. Look at that ore development. 65,000 square feet of planned retail. Look where it's going to be. It's going to be essentially filling in the gap, making the project complete by filling in all of that land. Here's from ore marketing right here. Look at what they're building. And just for some perspective, this is west up, and as opposed to the last slide, which was north up. And you can see here what they plan on doing to that area. 48,170 square feet there, building A. 18,760, building B. 66,930, building. Oh, I'm sorry. That's the total. That's the total they want to build. I want to show you the math. If you take this entire project, Einbinder's 215,000 plus, or 66,000 plus, it comes out to 282,544. Look at the math there. That 66,930 represents 24.75% of the entire square footage of retail. You can go ahead and extrapolate that out. It's probably going to make up about 25% of the traffic too. 25% of the traffic included in the area's development is not even considered by the December TIA. Here's a bird's eye for you. This is from the ore company. They've put out these marketing materials. You can get a better perspective here of what they're planning on doing. You see there in yellow where it says owned by others. That's Einbinder development that you saw earlier. Oh, but we've got something special here. You were looking, those promotional items I was just showing you were a little bit older. These are some newer ones. They're now planning on doing it in phases. Not quite sure why they decided that they were going to call that 3.5 acres their future development and only develop that first one. But you know, I've got my hunch that it has to do with traffic considerations. And I'll show you why in a second. The city, or let me show you this first. Again, we feel this language that we showed you before, adverse traffic impact, would also include, you know, right there it says additional proposed developments. Why hasn't this development been ordered included, or why would the city even look at a TIA not including 25% of the development? Just because it's a different owner? Well, you guessed it. That's exactly what the city said. Here you see more excerpts from the design manual. We feel that this is other language that requires the city to take into account the or development. And we pointed this out to the city, and the city doesn't interpret it the same way. And this is what I've been getting to, the city's response. The city does not have any formal submittal of documentation on what is proposed for the development on the OR property, and Public Works and Engineering does not speculate on land development. A TIA for the OR development to include the Washington Heights project will be required of the OR development at the time they begin their development. Don't know this. I feel maybe that OR has decided to do their project in phases because of issues they may face getting their traffic impact analysis approved in light of the fact that the Washington Heights Wal-Mart project will be going in first or getting approved first. Secondly, it seems a rather outrageous statement to us that they'd say they don't speculate on land development with all the practical, no nonsense idea. I mean, it just makes so much sense that they've put out so much marketing material already. The OR company has. Why wouldn't the city want, in the interest of the most accurate analysis, why wouldn't they demand that the OR development be included? We all saw what they want to do. It's very well marketed. They've had professionals come in and put this together, and the city says, oh, we don't know of any plans. We haven't been submitted anything. And, you know, it just seems incredulous. Anyway, I want to point out this too. This is a related issue. There's a planned Kroger nearby, and I've highlighted it in red there. It's about 0.8 miles you see there from the OR Ainbender development. We're not totally sure, but we wanted to throw this in there. Analysis area, it seems to suggest if this is a category 4 development, which is what we're unsure of, but if it is, it's not included. They didn't include the Kroger development, which is well on its way there, right by Arnie's. Arnie's is right below the red blob there, for those of you who like to buy party supplies. Anyway, moving on. Another one of our issues, the TIA uses unspecified generic land use codes. Well, Ainbender doesn't know who's leasing, so they had to pick from the trip generation manual, which is an industry manual that tells you how many cars a particular retail type development is going to generate. They had to pick a number, and they didn't know specific. Okay, so we're talking about those ITE codes. You see there that red line that's kind of covering it, but they had to use code 820, which is a generic code. And what these codes tell the traffic engineers is how many cars are going to be generated by that particular retail development. So they can get an idea of how many more cars are going to be around the development, entering, exiting, and they assign those cars directions. How many are going to go right at this intersection, left, etc., etc. But code 820 is generic. And as we see here, on the left, code 820 there, highlighted, 3.73 trips an hour per